Hi, everyone. I'm Ravi Kapoor. Welcome to the 2020 San Ramon Candidates Forum, which is sponsored by the Coalition for Civic Engagement, a nonpartisan organization. To tell you more about this Coalition for Civic Engagement, here's Rajiv Singh.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for the introduction, Ravi. CCE, Coalition for Civic Engagement, as we call it, includes a diverse group of organizations, including Civic Leadership USA, NAA United, Punjab Foundation, Hindu American Foundation, Hindu American Political Action Committee, Asian American Unity Coalition, Indo-American Community Federation, and Federation for the Indian and Indian Diaspora Studies. I want to go in a bit of detail for each of these organizations so that you have a context of why these organizations have come together and what they do. Civic Leadership USA empowers and organizes the Asian and Pacific Islander American communities to create a national network of civic-minded organizations and leaders and work in unity. NAA United, which is National Asian American United, is a nonprofit 501c3 national organization whose mission is to encourage Asian Americans to get involved in their communities and to exercise the full rights of their citizenship. We aspire to unite all Asian American organizations to collectively gain equal rights and justice and to achieve our individual and collective American dreams. Punjab Foundation is a non-for-profit 501c3 dedicated to providing educational support for underprivileged orphans, single parents, and children with special needs, autism, mental development issues, visually handicapped, hearing impaired, and physically challenged. Hindu American Foundation, HAF, is an educational and advocacy organization established in 2003. HAF focuses on educating the public about Hindus and Hinduism and advocating for policies and practices. HAF's mission is to promote dignity, mutual respect, and pluralism in order to ensure the well-being of Hindus and for all people and the planet to thrive. Hindu American Political Action Committee, HAPAC, is an independent, nonpartisan political action committee for the Hindu American community. HAPAC's mission is to identify and support new federal candidates or incumbents who prioritize and are committed to religious freedom, civil and human rights, and other Hindu American interests. AAUC, Asian American Unity Coalition, it aims to gain equal citizenship for AAPI, to achieve our collective American dream, and to forge unity on our common goals among all diverse AAPI organizations. It seeks to empower and to speak with one voice. Indo-American Community Federation, IACF, wants to promote involvement of Indo-Americans in the mainstream by understanding issues facing the community at large through meetings, cultural exchanges, and educational seminars, while offering a rich resource center for human services. It encourages understanding and unity amongst different ethnicities by holding unity dinners to bring the entire diverse leadership and policymakers together. Federation for Indian and Indian Diaspora Studies, FIIDS, studies policies. It analyzes and engages in advocacy and awareness related to India and Indian diaspora. Our group, as part of CCE and CCE collectively, is to promote civic engagement. We are the fastest growing community in the United States with many commonalities such as value for family and education and our love for democracy, freedom, and mutual respect. We deem that it is very important to learn and appreciate each other's cultural backgrounds and to work together as a coalition to promote our common interests. We are proud to be presenting the 2020 San Ramon's Candidates Forum, and we welcome other like-minded organizations to join us in promoting civic engagement. With that, Ravi, over to you.
Thank you very much, Rajiv, and thank you all for being here with us today. By the way, this event is presented by the Prosperity Financial Group in San Ramon. Thank you for your participation as well. We have a few ground rules for today's event. Obviously, we would like everyone to be courteous and professional. Participants will have time limits on statements. They're going to get 90 seconds to have an opening statement. Every question that we ask, they have 1 minute to respond. And if someone directs an accusation or a statement towards a candidate, we will allow that candidate 30 seconds to rebut that statement. Now, we're going to start off with the San Ramon Mayoral campaign. There are 6 candidates in total. 4 of them are here today. We want to introduce them: Dinesh Govindarao, Dave Hudson, Susmita Nayak, and Aparna Madireddi. We did invite Sabina Zafar, as well as Sanat Sethy, both declined to attend. So we'll start with the San Ramon mayoral race, and then later we'll have District 1 and District 3 here in San Ramon. So let's start with the San Ramon mayor's race. We're going to start with Dr. Dinesh Govindarao. Dr. Govindarao, please introduce yourself and tell folks why you are running for mayor of San Ramon. You have 90 seconds.
Thank you, and thanks for hosting this event. A little bit about my background. My parents moved to San Ramon back in 1979, and I went to Cal High and graduated there in 1988. I then went off to UC Berkeley and then went to medical school, and I did my residency at UCLA and also obtained a Master's of Public Health. When I look at someone who wants to be a mayor, I want someone who is relatable and has the widest net when it comes to being able to connect with people. And I feel I'm the strongest candidate on this panel with that ability to connect and relate with others. Now, I'm running for mayor because I not only understand the true diversity and fabric of our community, but also the demand for medical governance and leadership that's needed. And that's really what's kind of been the catalyst that compelled me to run. And I've been involved with our community for many years, uplifting our future generation, sports, coaching sports, being on the PTA board, being on the Reflections Chair, volunteer for drama and theater. And when you look at someone who's representing the face of San Ramon, you want someone who's invested in our city, who cares about the welfare of this and of the city, and who can connect with the people. And because of my 41-year tie to both sides of San Ramon, I'm the candidate that can best empathize and understand every single aspect of our community. I'm also the only candidate that has the medical and business background who can successfully navigate the complex and crucial decisions we'll be making for our city to mitigate the COVID-19 crisis. I bring a fresh perspective. I'm not trying to climb any political ladder. The community has given me and my family so much. I want to genuinely just serve this community. And I don't have an ulterior motive. I'm not backed by any political party. I genuinely want to just serve the residents of San Ramon and want to continue the great leadership we have in the city. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Govindarao. Now let's go to Dave Hudson. Dave Hudson, you have 90 seconds. Please tell us why you want to be mayor of San Ramon.
Well, first I need to correct some things I read last week. Very important. San Ramon has never had the highest paid city manager in the state, not even close. When I go back to Washington, D.C. with organizations like the Contra Costa Transportation Authority and County Connection, we pull millions of dollars out of these boardrooms back there. And we leverage $1 of your half-cent sales tax with $3 we pull out of there. I pulled $5 million out of, can't hear you. Oh, I pulled $5 million out of ABAG and the Air District and $1 million for the autonomous vehicle. No other candidate for mayor will ever be on those regional committees because of the 8-year term limits. And I want to point out that Sabina, you have to climb over 96 elected officials. You're not going to do it. Sabina Zafar was endorsed by the Mercury and the Times. Sabina is the only candidate for mayor that voted yes on Prop 16. And the Times and the Mercury are supporting Prop 16. I have been your San Ramon Council member for 23 years, and I can tell you that it makes a difference whether you are party politics or people. I have always supported the residents. I always have, I always will. The Times will not. They never have, and they never will. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hudson. Now let's go to Susmita Nayak. You have 90 seconds. Please tell us why you're running for mayor of San Ramon.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Navratri and happy Puja to everyone. Well, I would like to thank CCE and the sponsors for giving us this platform. I'm Susmita Nayak, running for mayor of San Ramon, an immigrant from India. Since 2002, I'm in US and I'm a proud resident of San Ramon for around 15 years. I'm a business owner and have my bachelor's degree in engineering with 18 plus years of industrial experience. My husband and I have raised 2 wonderful children here in San Ramon who are attending schools in the district. I'm serving my 3rd term as one of the board of directors for the San Ramon Chamber of Commerce. Here in San Ramon, we need a leader with a sharp vision and integrity, a problem solver, a good decision maker with proven track records. Our city needs strong leadership that works for our residents, for securing a better future for San Ramon without increasing any utility bills or taxes. Instead, we should be focusing on creative strategies to handle the city budget in more judicious and economical ways. My campaign is based on 100% clean money with individual contribution, and I have voted no for Prop 16, just for records. And we are fortunate to live here in such a vibrant community. I'm passionate about serving my city and our residents. Thank you. Susmita Nayak.
Thank you very much, Susmita. Now let's go to Aparna Madireddi. Please, you have 90 seconds. Please tell us why you want to run for mayor of San Ramon.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for hosting District 2 for Census 2020 and serve on its finance subcommittee. San Ramon will have to make a full economic recovery from the COVID revenue losses. It also has to address its debt issue, which is essentially the pension debt, which is escalating. But more importantly at this time, it has to recover recreationally. We have been a very dead city for the past few months because of COVID, but even pre-COVID, we did not have much recreational opportunities in our city. And only a mayor who has worked extensively with all diverse cultural groups, subgroups, religious groups, and age groups is going to be able to lead the city to bring back family-friendly activities into the city, which will also generate revenues. And keep in mind that every group, cultural group, diverse group, age group, utilizes these services, these activities in a different way. So the success of these events will depend on how they are formatted. And that's where I come in. So if you like that vision, if you like supporting small businesses, it would be an honor for me to earn your vote. Aparna for sanramon.com. That's my website. And thank you once again.
Thank you very much, Aparna. Now let's get to the questions here. We'd like you all to first address San Ramon's growth. I mean, I'm a Bay Area native. I've seen San Ramon explode in recent years, and I looked it up. The population has roughly doubled over the last 20 years. That's incredible. Affordable housing is an issue. Traffic, of course, like much of the region, continues to be problematic. And I have friends actually that live in San Ramon who've told me that the school systems that were once classified as 10s are now 9s. What is your plan for sustainable development? Let's start now with Dinesh Govindarao. You have 1 minute.
Yeah, thanks, Ravi. You know, I'll just go back in history a little bit. I came here in 1979, and unfortunately, I don't think there's like census data that shows what the numbers will look like, but we were probably I've heard numbers from like in the 15 to about 25,000 back then. And now today we're at 84,000. So we have, we have at least quadrupled in size from back then. And Dave may have a, better number on this, but we need to really be taking a balanced approach. If you look at our master plan, I mean, our 2035 our general plan, we actually have the ability to apportion up to 96,000 right now. That's what the plan has stated. And so what we need to do is make sure that we're going to be forced to grow based on what state mandates are because of the housing shortage that we're having. State's going to mandate us to be able to put more housing in our city, but it's how we grow, and we need to make sure that we do it in a controlled way. We don't let the state tell us what to do, but we do it in a controlled fashion where we have local control and we take a balanced approach to this.
You have met your time. Thank you very much. Let's go on to Dave Hudson. Same question. What is your plan for sustainable development?
Well, first of all, let's get the history right on this thing. The school district is their own district. They can pretty much do what they want. The city of San Ramon has grown very little on our planning in this century. Doherty Valley is a county plan. We lost on that deal. And oddly enough, the general plan that Dinesh is talking about was the only voter-approved, voter-designed general plan that I've ever heard of. I was the mayor in 2001 when they did it. I'd never heard of San Ramon being over 80,000 until they came in at 96,000. And I'm the only one on this Zoom that was not allowed to participate on it. The City Walk project, I took it to ABAG, I've taken it to the Air District. They want to use City Walk as the model for the entire Bay Area. This is what's coming. If I had another hour, I could tell you about RENA numbers, and I don't. as I look at the clock, but we have a storm coming at us that is just going to make things far worse.
Dinesh, I'm going to give you 30 seconds if you'd like to respond to what Dave had to say.
No, I don't have anything additional to say than what he mentioned.
Okay, terrific. Let's go on to Susmita Nayak. Susmita, 1 minute to address San Ramon's growth. What is your plan for development?
Well, San Ramon has experienced tremendous change and growth, if you see from few years. And we need to make sure that it remains the place we are proud to call home. When you see the City Walk Master Plan, our city, they approved for 4,500 housing units. That is ridiculous. But one good thing is, I will definitely take this, that again, the city needed to revisit this plan, and they have gone for reducing it to 2,800 with one police station, substation, with community center, and lot many things. So we should be doing a proactive approach rather than a hasty decision in which really affects the quality of life of San Ramon. So regarding any of the affordable housing, city has been taken care. It is like they are taking care, but we need to go for sustainable growth, which city can manage, which our residents can manage, not like whatever developers come up and they recommend.
You've made your time. Thank you very much. All right, let's go on to.
I'd like to respond to that one if I can. 30 seconds.
She didn't. Did she direct something to you, Dave? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, about City Walk and I mean, the point that is missed here is that Doherty Valley is a county plan. We lost the lawsuit. The city of San Ramon has done very little building, and the 6th cycle of RENA is coming through in the next month or two, and we're going to be told to produce at least 4,700 homes, and where we're going to have to show it. This project is exactly what legislation is telling us to do. You say no as a city, and it will get approved, just like Doherty Valley, and we'll get 0 permitting fees.
As I need to answer Dave, as he has mentioned, as before also, earlier also, I have mentioned, we have the local power, local control, as per the home rule. And I have clearly mentioned that we are saying that we will work with the state. With that said, whatever affordable units we need to have, we will go for that. But that doesn't mean that we have to go building something 4,500 units with 10% affordable. That is not a judicious way of addressing any affordable units. We can instead go for something affordable housing units.
Thank you. That was 30 seconds. Thank you very much. Let's move on now to.
That is a separate issue she's bringing up.
Dave, if you have it,
this is the main issue.
Let's rein it in here. We have to move forward. I've got to give Aparna her fair time to speak. Aparna Madireddi, you have 1 minute. Please tell us about your plan for sustainable development.
Thank you, Ravi. I have only one daughter, and she now lives and works in Virginia, and she swore never to come back to San Ramon, which is sad for me. She grew up here. She attended Doherty Valley High School, was a part of the Teen Council for 3 years. One of the major problems I had when the City Council recently approved the 4,500 homes was the affordable housing component. $600,000 is not affordable housing for working families, for people on retired income who are trying to downsize. Any developer who's trying to build in San Ramon should not get a free pass when it comes to affordable housing. It should not be token affordable housing. If you want to make it sustainable growth, resident friendly, you have to make sure you're looking at your infrastructure maintenance fund budget, which we do not have much of. It's at $600,000 for this fiscal year. Affordable housing funds, it's at $700,000. That is not enough. We have to make sure we are providing affordable housing and keeping our city sustainable at the same time by working with people who are providing housing in our city. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aparna. Okay, let's move forward now talking about public safety. We all saw what the wildfires did to our region, much of the state impacted with just terrible air quality. PG&E has had several power outages in San Ramon, and there's concern from residents that an undermanned police force, and there are cries that potentially police departments around the country and maybe even in San Ramon may need to get defunded. Please tell us about your plan to keep San Ramon safe. Let's start with Dinesh Govindarao. You have 1 minute.
Hey, sorry, Ravi, there was a couple questions there. I just want to make sure you want to talk about the police department. Just want to be clear on that.
We want to talk about public safety.
Public safety, okay.
Give us your
Well,
plan
yeah,
for public safety.
Thank you. So, okay, so there was a lot said. That's why I just want to make sure. Well, thanks for the question. Well, first, I'd like to keep San Ramon one of the safest cities in the state. I've had discussions with Chief Stevens, and he also wants to do a lot for our community as well. I know you mentioned about defunding the police. I'm not in support of defunding the police. I look at at least in this city, I look at San Ramon, we look at our number of police officers to the ratio of citizens, and we are lower statistically when you compare it to other similar sized cities. But what I think is important is we need to make sure we have training for our officers on systemic racism, implicit bias, and cultural sensitivity. And I'd like to also be an advocate for allocating resources for mental health resources. There's a program in Southern California that they've started. It's called PERT, P-E-R-T. It's a psychiatric emergency response team. And what I'd like to see is where if there's a mental health issue that comes about, a 911 call, it's our police officers as well as a mental health professional that attends that scene. So
okay,
those are types of things
Dinesh, we have to leave it there.
Important.
We have to leave it there. It's the format, but thank you for your comments. Let's move on to Dave Hudson.
1 minute goes quickly.
It does. It really, it's very rapid. But we did Fremont last week, and we literally went half an hour late, and we're trying to keep things a little bit tighter now.
Thank you.
All right, Dave Hudson, you have 1 minute. Let's talk about public safety for San Ramon.
I'm not going to defund a police force that's already defunded. The standard is 1 per 1,000. We have 69 police officers for about 85,000 people. The bigger issue to me was the health and safety you're talking about, and I'm going to take a couple seconds to drive this home. The #1 cause of health effects in the air, in the Bay Area, is particulate matter. It's also the #2 cause of climate change. I was talking to Congressman Thompson about doing something to get these fires put out before they turn into these month-long things that drive us into November, and we're still fighting these things. We're in the winter spare the air days in about, 3-4 days? That is mandated by federal government. What are we going to do to put these darn things out? In 2018, when I was chair, I was up in the tar sands, and Alberta was burning down. Edmonton had the worst air I've ever seen anywhere in the world. We've got to put out these fires. It's more important than anything else we can do.
Thank you, Dave. All right, Susmita Nayak, please, you have 1 minute to talk about public safety.
Sure. Regarding the police defunding, I have already mentioned that we are proud of our San Ramon Police Department, and they are doing pretty good. So I'm not in favor of defunding the police department, but at the same time, there were certain things which they are already implementing, like ban of chokehold and diversified task force and oversight committees, and etc. So regarding the major concern, that is the California fires, definitely some fires were caused by the PG&E's equipment, which was not maintained well earlier. And so they have to make sure that their equipments are up to date, properly maintained, which is really important because it is costing lives and money and a lot of efforts. Our fire departments, people are always on the run. So that is one thing. Climate change is real. We have to make sure whatever it needs to make it efficient energy, and whatever way we can reduce the carbon, that is a good step for every one of us.
Thank you, Susmita. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. All right, now another minute for Aparna Madireddi to talk about public safety in San Ramon. Go right ahead.
Thank you. We just talked about our growing population. We are at 84,000. We're going to add another 10, 11,000 with the 4,500 homes that have been approved. Another 634 units are going to get approved in the Crow Canyon area. It's left the Planning Commission's desk. So we're adding more population with 69 sworn police officers. That's 0.83 per 1,000 residents, nearly not enough to be proactive as a police department to prevent property crimes, especially when you have propositions like Proposition 47 and 57, which classify many crimes as misdemeanors, makes the police department's job a lot harder. I do not support defunding, but what I have always proposed for 3 years now is a Citizens Police Advisory Committee, different age groups, different ethnicities, providing information to the police department to build community trust. The Concord, City of Concord is doing a mental health response task force pilot program, a great opportunity for our police department to look into that as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aparna. All right, let's move forward now to COVID-19, which is obviously affecting every city around the globe right now. There's a projected shortfall in San Ramon's revenue, like so many other cities and states around this nation. How should the city handle the shortfall? Let's start with Dr. Dinesh Govindarao. You have 1 minute.
Sorry, I was on mute. Well, first of all, I mean, to really tackle this, we need to really be taking a proactive approach. So, one is making sure we're really effectively communicating what's going on with the residents, but we need to look at ways how we can optimize keeping this economy open while not compromising the safety of our residents. And I've probably said that so many times to so many different folks that I've spoken to. And the way you do this, you got to take a really practical, data-driven approach. We need to look at the CDC and the state and county guidelines, but also see if there's ways where we can be potentially influential and trying to help with policy decisions as well. With that, for us to keep our economy open, we need to make sure the infrastructure is there. That means in place of making sure testing is there, quick results of testing, contact tracing, quarantine if needed, having proper PPE, personal protective equipment, regular scheduled cleaning of surfaces, those types of things need to be done. Also emphasizing wearing masks, social distancing, proper hygiene. I mean, that should be a mandate. And we need to also be able to promote our small businesses and have out-of-the-box type of solutions so they can stay open. And that will really help us with keeping.
Thank you, Dr. Dinesh Govindarao. We appreciate that. All right, let's move forward to Dave Hudson. You have 1 minute to talk about the COVID-19 response in San Ramon.
Yeah, I think the most important part of that is the financial part. You just said, how's the city going to deal with it? I took a quick look at our finance committee coming up, and I was surprised and happy to see that we're projecting a 53% reserve next year. We pivoted very well this year. I mean, we used our reserves when we needed to do it. We kept things going. I have made a point of going to City Center almost every day now to see the activity increasing. And I can't stress this enough to people. The last 10 weeks leading up to Christmas is half the sales tax for a lot of these companies. You need to get out and buy from these companies to help them stay in business. Stop looking for the city to do it. We're doing our part. You need to get out and help these businesses stay alive.
Thank you, Dave. Let's move forward now to Susmita Nayak. You have 1 minute to talk about the COVID-19 response in San Ramon.
Yes, apart from maintaining CDC guidelines and hygienic steps, and I believe San Ramon has already been very proactive in doing all these things. Our numbers are pretty low. Well, regarding the economic part, yes, our residents and small business retails have been affected tremendously, and city could have done much more, whether in terms of any stimulus packages or anything. Because other neighboring cities, whether it is Concord, Dublin, everyone have taken some step. And we are one of the richest city here they claim they have got a lot of budget, the reserves and stuff. What they have done nothing. People are very much anxious and scared, and running the business as a business owner, I know what it takes, whether it is any kind of mortgages, rentals or anything, a lot of things could have been done. So even seniors who are by themselves, they needed much more support. And I have proposed as a broadband, and it is a very good step for.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Let's go to Aparna Madireddi.
Ravi, could you repeat the question, please? I just forgot what the original.
Sure. Not a problem. Again, and this is something that's not just specific to San Ramon. This is typical of cities all over the country. There's a major revenue shortfall for so many cities. Small businesses, as you guys know, have been decimated. What is the plan for San Ramon to address the pandemic in the near future? You have 1 minute.
Thank you. The city did what it could at a time when everybody was going through confusion, so I'm not going to focus on that. Our expenditure budget is up by about almost 16 million, and our revenues have gone down. Our sales tax was at 9 million, and that has taken a hit with COVID losses. The other thing I looked at was our transient occupancy taxes, our hotel tax. That has really gone down. It was at 4 million, then it went to 2. It's going to go further down. So we have to work very quickly with other agencies and stakeholders to see how we can support our small businesses. That is the soul of our community. We don't want to duplicate efforts. So forming an economic policy committee, a task force, to bring in diverse business owners with suggestions on how we can quickly invest, setting up a small business loan program, short-term, long-term, providing them the assistance with community development financial institutions. That is the way to go to support the small business, increase revenues in our city. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aparna. Finally, let's talk about money in politics for a moment. This race has been of intrigue to all of us here in our organization because there's been a lot of expenditure in campaigns for local races. So we want to talk about that. How is your campaign being funded? And what are your thoughts about money in politics? Let's start with Dr. Dinesh Govindarao. You have 1 minute.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you know, it's interesting when you look at all different candidates, you see a wide difference. And I think there should be more things to have more of a level playing field. If you're an undecided voter, I think I mentioned before, please look at this, how much the candidates have raised, how much they've spent, what they've spent it on, how much has been raised locally or outside of San Ramon. And I think that's very important to be looking at those things and special interests. I mean, the majority of my contributions have come from folks in San Ramon, mostly friends and family. So if you look at the number of individual donors I've had, it's mostly from San Ramon, small portion of them from family and friends outside of San Ramon. Like a college buddy and a high school friend and all that. So, but it's interesting, like you have one candidate who's raised and who's not here today, who's raised over 50,000 and 65% is coming from the outside of San Ramon. And I'm not suggesting taking money outside of San Ramon is unethical, but it makes one wonder why is so much money coming from outside of San Ramon to influence the local race. I'm trying to be very careful. I know this is a tough time for people, so it's hard for to ask for money too because we're in a down economy. But I'm trying to be very careful on the hard-earned money that I receive as contributions and really take whatever we spend and make sure it has the biggest impact and the best return on investment on what we're trying to do in our campaign. And again, we're trying to run a very clean
Dinesh,
campaign.
we appreciate that. All right, let's go to Dave Hudson. You have 1 minute to talk about money in politics.
Yeah, I pretty much run the same campaign I did back in 2018. I budgeted to be about $24,000. I usually end up right around 20. That's probably where I'll be this year. At least 25% of it will be my own money. I send out a couple flyers. I don't go crazy on signs. And I like to go out and talk to people. I walk. I have done some years where I'll get 15,000 walking pieces. This year I expected more wind and a little bit more rain and didn't think I'd be able to get out and blew through 5,000 or 6,000 almost immediately. To me, this is the best part of campaigning, talking to people. You walk by, you don't have to ring the doorbell. They're out on the streets right now and they're willing to talk and tell you what they want. This is how you get down to the bottom line of what's important to people in San Ramon. In the previous election, they wanted city center and they let you know it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dave. Susmita Nayak, you have 1 minute to talk about money in politics.
Sure. This is such an important role. Serving public service or like my campaign is based on 100% clean money with small individual contributions. I have mentioned that earlier. This is people-centric, and we cannot have people who are taking money from developers or from special interest, which can literally influence the decision. And some of our existing opponents are taking that, and they have clearly mentioned that in their recorded version. And even taking loans from the individuals, from the cops, like because you are taking some kind of favoritism and it influences any kind of decisions. I would say that running campaign with people-centric, with small money donations is a good idea, good ideal thing, so that your decisions in future never gets influenced by anything. So I have not even taken any money even from the chamber or any corp here. any
Thank you,
developers.
Susmita.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, Aparna Madireddi, you have 1 minute to talk about money in politics.
Thank you. I filed as a nonpartisan candidate for a reason, to represent residents and businesses of San Ramon. 87% of the funds that I've raised is local in San Ramon. Rest is from friends and family outside, from my campaign team and my own friends. When you are up against two incumbents who are not even up for re-election this year, who are just running for the title of mayor, when you're up against a supermajority party that's pushing you away because you ran nonpartisan, and when you're up against another party that is trying to portray you as a person that you're not, you have to raise money to send your message out into the community. And I'm very proud to say my campaign manager, who is a former San Ramon mayor, has loaned me a lot of money because we did not want to take it from residents who are hurting at this time economically. The other person who donated is also a former San Ramon council member. And that is how I have been able to get my message out into the community on time and dispel any mistruths that have been going out about me. Thank you.
Thank you, Aparna. Okay.
I'd like to address that. Robbie, I'm sorry, but this race is partisan. And I've already been mayor. I'm not running for a title. I just told you, we pull millions of dollars out of Washington, D.C. It makes a difference when I'm the chairman of the board of directors or the mayor.
I would like to rebut that, Ravi.
Sure.
Dave and Sabina are not up for re-election until 2022. If they lose this year, they still get to go back and serve their term out until 2022. Their vote is exactly the same as any other council member. We have 5 council members. So if you are adding me to the council, Dave and Sabina still get to stay. They still have that one vote. So yes, Dave and Sabina are running for the title of mayor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And just to clarify for everybody, once again, who may have joined the broadcast late, Sabina Zafar is the vice mayor currently of San Ramon. She was invited but declined to attend. Now we have a minute for each of you to summate your campaigns. Let's start once again now with Dr. Dinesh Govindarao. You have 1 minute. Go right ahead.
I just want to talk a little bit about what, again, differentiates me from the other candidates. I have a strong passion and generally want to serve our community here in San Ramon. The city has given me so much and my family, and this is really part of my DNA. My dad's one of the early pioneers for the HCCC, and I'm a local kid who graduated, like I mentioned earlier, from Cal High in 1988. My parents moved here in 1979, and then I went off to medical school. I'm deep rooted in this community. Not only did I grow up here, but I came back to this great city to raise my 4 kids. 2 of them graduated from DVHS. One's a junior, one's in 8th grade, and I've called San Ramon my home for 41 years. I've been involved in the community uplifting youth over the last 12, 13 years, coaching a number of sports, being on the PTA board, serving as reflections chair, and also being involved with countless classroom activities and field trips and drama and theater. I'm a natural born leader. I have a proven track record. I've time and time again stepped into various industries with the least amount of experience and have made a transformative change over the last 19 years. I bring a fresh perspective, not a career politician, and this is truly a grassroots campaign for me. I currently work as a physician, as a chief medical officer for a large state agency. So public.
Thank you, Dinesh. We appreciate that. Thank you very much. Dave Hudson, you have 1 minute. Please submit your campaign.
Yeah, I've been your council member for the last 23 years and served on about a dozen other county, regional, and state committees. I was your mayor in 2001, and I've been vice mayor 4 or 5 times since. My priorities have never changed, and the Tri-Valley priorities have not changed in the last 3 decades. Transportation, education, taxes, and quality of life. You need to get on these regional committees to make a difference on those priorities. And I'm asking for your vote to continue to keep San Ramon beautiful. This is how we do it. We work and we make things happen.
Thank you very much, Dave. Let's go on to Susmita Nayak. You have 1 minute to talk about your campaign.
Thank you. As mentioned by Dave, the priorities have never changed, and that matters a lot. In the candidate statement, a lot of them, whoever are existing here, their priorities have all changed. Even my priorities have not changed since the day one. Economic development and all other priorities remains the same. But here, as per the wind, as per the flow, candidates are changing their priorities. please look out at the candidate statement. And regarding the major part, the breaking news is this month in October, the project, the City Walk Master Plan. Well, I was the only candidate who has voiced opposition to this huge City Walk Master Plan earlier this year in January. Despite all the opposition by residents, this plan got approved by just 5 hearings. This month in October, the project was revisited by both parties, and it is in the process of renegotiation. Earlier approved 4,500 housing units. It has been reduced to 2,800 units with a police substation. Long-term 25-year contract has been revised to 15 years contract with 10-year optional extension.
Thank you, Susmita. Thank you very
We
much.
need to have a proactive people, not like revisions and
thank you. That's well over 1 minute.
33 million.
Thank you very much.
For
Let's
this,
conclude this portion of our broadcast with Aparna Madireddi. You have 1 minute to summate your campaign.
Thank you. We pay some of the highest taxes in the state: gas tax, state tax, income tax. It's all very high. The return on investment is pretty minimal. It should not be the same in San Ramon. It hasn't been, but we want to continue the top-notch service the city provides to all our residents. And for that, you need a mayor who really understands the diverse population that now resides in the city of San Ramon, who is going to follow through and do things that I'm promising. This is what you're going to get. There is no two ways. And many residents have already benefited from some of the things I've done for them. It will only be on a more expanded level if I become your mayor. One of the things that Susmita said I have to address, she may have been, but I put my money where my mouth is. I was the one who joined residents in an appeal to the city council with a $2,500 non-reimbursable fee to appeal the City Walk project. Thank you. Vote for me, Aparna Madireddi. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Robbie,
Go ahead,
I've
you
got
have 30
to
seconds.
correct number two. The 4,500 numbers not going down.
Dave, can you pause for a moment? Because Susmita is on mute. Susmita, I'll give you 30 seconds to respond, but please unmute yourself first. Susmita, go ahead. You have 30 seconds. Oh boy. Susmita, you're still on mute. I mean, she probably can't hear me now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Now we can. Go right ahead.
Well, after I mentioned all my options and how the city is going to get affected, then Greg and Jim, they mentioned, oh, okay, this affects. And Aparna mentioned how the 600K for the affordable units is too much, but she did not oppose the plan for 4,500 units. Again, I want to restate it. Economic development, supporting the economy and small business is my priority, the #1 priority. Please have a glance at the candidate statement.
Okay,
and
thank you.
Having a proper vision is so important. And
thank you, Susmita.
Thank you very much. Thanks for giving me.
We appreciate it. I think we'll leave things right there. And as you can tell, we have.
Hey, Robbie, is it possible to get another like 10 to 15 seconds just to wrap something up?
The time is too short.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give wrong, just to make it easy, Dave and Dinesh, you each get 10 seconds. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
I mean,
Dinesh.
it's simple. If you don't want 4,500 homes there, tell me where in the city you want them, because housing and community development will not change the numbers coming to the county or the region unless they go up. I got emails that say they want 1 million homes.
Well, we are meeting the affordable units as 675. So that is one good thing, that we are still retaining the 675 affordable units, which is around 25 percentile of the overall 2,800.
Okay, Dinesh, go ahead. And
why
don't you jump in here, Dinesh? I'll give you 10 seconds.
I think Dave and Susmita were nicely debating that. I just want to really just mention and end with that I will work tirelessly for our residents of San Ramon. I want to serve this great city as a physician running for public office. My #1 priority is to keep our one San Ramon safe, healthy, and thriving. You can please visit my website at www.drdineshforsanramon.com, and I'd be honored to get your vote. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you very much for this very spirited exercise on a Sunday morning, which is.
One more second. This election is about the future of San Ramon, and I believe in this future. This election, please vote for the mayor you can believe in, Susmita Nayak for San Ramon Mayor.
Right.
Vision.
What time is our debate tomorrow, Robbie? I didn't get the email on that.
We can do this every day if you'd like, Dave. Right between now and the
election. All right, the joke's over.
All right. Thank you all so much for being here. Dinesh Govindarao, Dave Hudson, Susmita Nayak, and Aparna Madireddi, obviously very passionate about their city, which is what we want to see. So best of luck to all of you on November 3rd. We're going to move forward now to the city council races taking place in San Ramon. And once again, everybody, I'm Ravi Kapoor from Diya TV. This is the 2020 San Ramon Candidates Forum, sponsored by the Coalition for Civic Engagement. It's a nonpartisan organization. It's also presented by Prosperity Financial Group in San Ramon. And right now we're going to go on to the District 1 and District 3 races, where we have a few of the folks that are running in attendance. A few other folks are not able to be here. Let's start with, I don't see Luz Gomez here, but if she's here, we'd love for her to speak up and join us. She's in District 1. She was planning to join us. And also in District 3, Sridhar Verose and Varun Kaushal. Let's start with the District 3 race, since I see Sridhar and Varun. Let's start with Sridhar. Verose, you have 90 seconds. Please tell us about yourself and why you're running for San Ramon District 3 City Council position.
Thank you, Ravi. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Coalition for Civic Engagement, and everyone for joining us this morning, actually. Wish you all happy Dasara festival. I understand San Ramon's unique quality of life. It's been a great privilege living in this beautiful community with my wife while raising our two young kids. Both go to San Ramon public schools. I work at a software engineering company, OpenText. I manage a global cloud operations team. I got my master's degree in software engineering from Sanat Sethy University. I know the need to support our community. I have been involved in community services for the last 12 years. For the past 4, I have served as a commissioner for parks and community services, including the liaison for library facilities and field user committees. I'm also founder of San Ramon Cricket Association. I'm founding member and steering committee member of San Ramon Valley Diversity Coalition. I'm running for city council because I believe that San Ramon is ideal city in which to live, raise a family, work, and to be committed. Our city leadership is changing. Well-experienced Mayor Clarkson and Phil Maloney, they are retiring. There is going to be a huge vacuum in our leadership. So I believe that my experience with the community and participating in rolling out the 10 years master plan update that will shape our community's future has given me the knowledge, experience, and foresight to help guide the city forward. This is why San Ramon's community leaders such as Congressman Swalwell and Mayor Clarkson and many other community leaders have supported my campaign. Please visit my website, sridharforsanramon.com, to find out more about me and my campaign. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sridhar. And I should just mention that your audio was kind of cutting in and out. It was still audible, but it was very low. So you may want to adjust your audio settings when you get a moment. And again, this is the San Ramon District 3 race that we're talking about. 90 seconds now for Varun Kaushal to talk about his candidacy. Go right ahead.
नमस्कार, आपके सभी दर्शकों को दशहरा और आने वाली दिवाली के पावन पर्व की हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं. I wish all the viewers a very happy. Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I would like to also thank CCE for organizing this event, and to all my fellow residents who care so much for improving our community and are so deeply engaged in our local elections. Our beautiful city is undoubtedly one of the best places to live. However, the fundamental question in this election is to look forward and decide how we want the city to be for our next generation. To all my fellow residents, my campaign is about you, and it is for you. And like you, it is also my deepest desire and a shared vision to see this beautiful city as strong, resilient, and thriving with a robust local economy. A city where we cherish our open spaces, but also work towards building a San Ramon that is leading in clean energy and lowering its environmental impact. A city where we are not looking at binary options of funding or not funding our public safety, but using innovative ways to build parallel alternatives that augment safety for our most vulnerable. To make these and other visions a reality, I respectfully ask for your vote for the San Ramon City Council District 3, and I assure you of working towards serving the needs of our community and our residents. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Varun. Sridhar, real quick, can we just check your audio just for a moment, just to make sure that you're okay?
I'm just checking right now as we speak.
I think we hear you just fine now. That's great. Okay, so I think that worked out. And I should mention a couple of folks that we did expect. We did expect Luz Gomez to be here, but she's not here. And also Scott Perkins was invited from District 1. He is unavailable. In District 3, this race that both Sridhar and Varun are vying for, Reza Majlesi was invited, did not respond to our invitation, nor did Sameera Rajwade. So there are actually two other candidates running for this particular seat. But let's focus now on District 3. Sridhar Verose, we're going to go into our list of questions here. And the first topic is going to be very similar to what the folks running for mayor were asked initially, and that's San Ramon's growth. The population has rapidly grown, almost unlike any other city here in the Bay Area. Affordable housing is an issue. Schooling, which is very important to folks in San Ramon, is also a big concern moving forward. Tell us about your plan for sustainable development. You have 1 minute.
Thank you. San Ramon is one of the most sought out places to live in Bay Area. The last time when I checked the population, it was around 82,000. And I'm really looking forward for our Census 2020 updates. As of now, we are still below the community voted approved General Plan 2035, which is set to around roughly 96,000 population. But one important thing that I want to make sure that we educate our residents about the RHNA, Regional Housing Need Allocation. That with our current 2023, we are supposed to build 1,417 units. So far, we built only 616 units, and we need to continue to build remaining 811. On top of it, again, we received like another 8-year cycle for 4,720 units that we need to still build for the growing population. On top of it, as a council member, I'll prioritize housing growth in the city core while preserving our existing retail, commercial, and open spaces, housing close to jobs, housing close to retail. This whole relocation of the zonings that we need to avoid disruptions of our existing neighborhoods infills is going to be the more priority for me for the development plan.
Thank you, Sridhar. Varun, you have 1 minute to talk about sustainable development in San Ramon.
Sure. Thank you. As public officials, it is our duty to educate residents about regional housing needs allocation, and that every 8 years, the state determines how much housing that it needs, and the Association of Bay Area Government then provides this allocation to the cities. For the current 2015-2023 cycle, San Ramon's share was 1,417 units. And for the next 8-year cycle, the ABAG needs to allocate 441,000 units, with San Ramon's share to be around 4,700 homes. As a city council, we need to ensure that any new development is one, focused on building transit-oriented mixed-use communities, allowing people to walk and bike between destinations. Number two, ensure new housing considers the needs of people with disabilities, older people, and children, and ensures equal housing opportunity. Number three, provide for and maintain a comprehensive bicycle and pedestrian system that connects the new development to the other parts of the city. And number four, lastly, ensure that new development is close to the transit, shopping, and reduces the amount of driving. Thank you.
Thank you, Varun. All right, let's get into public safety. We obviously saw what happened with the wildfires throughout California, which was devastating for a lot of us. And certainly PG&E triggered some power outages in San Ramon. There's concern about an undermanned police force in San Ramon as well. So please tell us about your plan to keep San Ramon safe. Sridhar Verose, you have 1 minute.
Thank you. First and foremost, I want to make it very clear that I do not support defunding San Ramon Police Department. I strongly support our police department. We need to observe that San Ramon is ranked as the safest place to raise family in California, and credit goes to our police department and our peace-loving community. We need to observe that the ratio of police in San Ramon is around 0.81 per thousand in compared to the similar sizes like if you take Pleasanton, it is 0.92 per thousand, and whereas Vallejo is around 0.87. So we still below the average ratio of police per thousand population. This does not mean that we need to reform our police. Definitely, I'll work on with our chief. We had a very good conversation about the future, and he is very open to work with us on diverse panel with the San Ramon Valley Diversity Coalition. And also one more important thing that we need to know that the San Ramon similar size of cities by 2022, January 2022, cities are supposed to provide the data to the community as per the state mandate. And on the fires and all those things, like recently I had a very good conversation with our fire chief.
I think we have to leave it there, Sridhar. You've exceeded the 1 minute, but thank you. Varun Kaushal, you have 1 minute to talk about public safety in San Ramon.
Having personally interacted with the police officers in our neighborhood, I have observed a mutual admiration and respect between the residents and the police. I think we cannot see our police with the same lens as some of the other larger cities in the country. San Ramon Police is one of the most cost-effective per capita when compared to other neighboring cities. And the police has taken numerous steps to train officers in de-escalation tactics and better respond to mental health calls. However, there are further actions that the City Council can initiate, such as one, the City Council must collaborate with our county to put in place a parallel system where police deals with violent crimes and non-violent crimes related to mental health illness are handled by mental health professionals supported by the police, thus creating a hybrid model. And I've discussed this with our police chief as well. Number two, the police would provide comprehensive use of force reports to the City Council to build transparency, which, by the way, is not happening today. And number three, I would also advocate for an oversight committee composed of people knowledgeable about both criminal justice system and the policing so they can successfully conduct that oversight. Thank you.
Thank you, Varun. Okay, we'll get into COVID-19 now. Of course, like many cities around the country, there's going to be a significant revenue shortfall. San Ramon is not immune to the challenges that are facing so many cities. Small businesses in particular have been decimated. What are you planning to do to make San Ramon prepared to address the pandemic for the near future? Sridhar Verose, you have 1 minute.
Thank you. We all know we are living in unprecedented and overwhelming times. This is an issue that affects all of us. It is not just impacting health, but job loss, financial impact, mental health issues, increase in domestic violence. Thanks to all our residents for wearing the mask and maintaining social distancing and keeping the COVID-19 infection rates very low in our city. Our top priority is to ensure that all our community members stay healthy. To do this, I will continue to collaborate with county to make sure residents are receiving the testing that needed. And also I'll collaborate with the county to make sure that we prepare all the logistics for vaccinations coming in the future. Another important thing is I strongly believe vibrant small business are important for thriving communities. It is very sad that the pandemic is destroying our small businesses for their no fault. I'll continue to bring our masterminds from Chamber of Commerce and Economic Development Advisory Committee to seek opportunities and solutions to help our small businesses. Thank you.
Thank you, Sridhar. Okay, Varun, you have 1 minute to talk about COVID-19 response in San Ramon.
Sure. I understand that these are difficult times, but there are numerous steps that the City Council can take that can have an immediate impact on our business's bottom line. For instance, having a green business certification and assistance program run by the city that distinguishes and certifies small to medium-sized businesses as green businesses, allowing them to build their brand and take a leadership role as environmental stewards with while increasing their customer base. Number two, providing storefront improvement grants matching a minimum of 30% or $3,000 to help businesses to enhance the look of their stores and increase foot traffic. Number three, let go of the license fees and any late fees or payment penalties for new and existing businesses for 1 year and work with county to provide extensions on commercial property tax payment. And number four, post-vaccine, conduct more community festivals like the Art and Wind Festival that brings a community together and increases foot traffic for retailers. Thank you.
Thank you, Varun. Okay, and let's now get into money and politics. We had some a very interesting discussion in the mayoral's side of things. How is your campaign being funded, and what is your philosophy on money and politics? Certainly, in these particular races, there's been a lot of money spent by different campaigns. Sridhar Verose, you have 1 minute.
My favorite part of campaigning is walking and talking to voters in the community. Unfortunately, because of COVID-19, this is not anymore reality for us. We cannot do door knocking, so we end up mostly depend on our virtual commercials. And fortunately, being in the community service for the past 12 years, I built a lot of friendships. And also I play cricket in the community, so I built a lot of friendships within the cricket community. So my budget is around $18,000, and majority of that money come from San Ramon residents, my friends, most of them. And also I received my campaign endorsement as well as contributions from unions. My campaign expenditure is a little bit definitely expensive than any other candidates because I order all my campaign material from union-owned small businesses. You know, you can see a small union bug on my campaign material. And I do support our local businesses. That's why that I'll go with our union-owned local businesses. So that's pretty much about my campaign fund.
Thank you, Sridhar. Varun Kaushal, you have 1 minute to talk about money and politics.
Sure. While I do that, I also want to remind the voters that I'm running because of a deep desire and a vision to see this beautiful city as strong, resilient, and thriving with a robust local economy that is capable of catering to the diverse needs of its wonderful residents. I believe that the council must reflect the fabric and that also fabric of the city, and that also comes down to how the campaigns are funded. Mine is a completely self-funded clean money campaign. COVID-19 has placed a lot of restrictions on how the campaigns have operated, and my campaign has relied also a lot on the power of word of mouth, social media to engage the voters. Besides that, the other ways have been through placing campaign signs, local news media, virtual candidates forums such as this one, and using the power of online advertising. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And let's summate your campaigns. Sridhar Verose, you have 1 minute to tell us about, to finalize why people should vote for you.
Once again, thank you, Coalition for Civic Engagement, and everyone for joining us this morning. I'm running for City Council to protect our great quality of life. As Parks Commissioner, I'm proud of our beautiful parks, trails, green spaces, golf courses, and open spaces. I've worked for parks and community services programs, including library services, art programs, and also worked closely with our community leaders on updating our 10 years master plan that shapes the future of the city. Though the work does not stop here, my priorities should you elect me as your representative on the City Council are safety, protecting our open spaces, and managing our finances with a balanced budget. Regarding our safety, this includes safe neighborhoods, safe schools, and safe roads. All our open spaces are sacred. I oppose any development that threatens our beautiful natural resources. I believe that strong finance is key to the foundation of our city. I know that we are in unprecedented times due to COVID-19 pandemic with tough economic challenges ahead. I will study our budget and work diligently to ensure city funds continue to be spent wisely and efficiently while looking at creative ways to increase revenue and maintain a balanced budget. I'm a member of Rotary Club, San Ramon Chamber of Commerce. Appreciating my 12 years of community service, I'm supported by Congressman Swalwell and Assembly Member Rebecca Bauer-Kehan, Mayor Clarkson.
Thank you,
Please visit
Sridhar.
my website, sridharforsanramon.com, to find out more about me and my campaign. Earning your vote would be my greatest honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Sridhar. Appreciate that. Varun Kaushal, you have 1 minute to talk about your campaign.
Sorry, Ravi, before I do that, and I would like my clock to start back again. Is this the closing statement?
This is the closing statement, indeed.
Then was it 90 seconds? I thought it was 90 seconds, right?
You can take 90 seconds, that's fine. I think Sridhar just took 90 seconds just now, so go right ahead.
Okay, thank you, Ravi. To my fellow residents, my campaign is about our shared vision and dreams that we have for this beautiful city. My vision for our city is one where we are not just building a city for the next 4 years, rather laying the foundations for a city that is suited for our next generation. A vision where San Ramon is not just dependent on its retail sector for sales tax dollars, but a San Ramon that is transitioned to the next hub of entrepreneurship, innovation, and is business focused. A San Ramon that is a hub for industries in the areas such as clean energy, automation, advanced manufacturing, healthcare, and fintech, while still managing and caring for its environment and open spaces. A vision that is not about defunding our police, but is about bringing transparency to our police department, such that their use of force reports are reviewed by the City Council, which, by the way, is not happening today. I would also collaborate with the county to ensure we put in place programs to answer nonviolent calls related to mental illness by mental health professionals and EMR. A vision to help our existing small businesses in these tough times by providing storefront improvement grants. A vision for our city to be reducing its carbon footprint by installing solar panels on all city-owned properties. This would save money, stimulate the local economy, and create jobs. My fellow residents, it would be my great honor to have the opportunity to represent and serve you as a council member in the San Ramon District 3. I respectfully ask for your vote in these elections. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And believe it or not, that concludes this event, which thank you all to all the candidates for generally adhering to the time and the format. This has been a tremendous improvement from what we've done in the past where, let's face it, politicians like to talk and we want to hear what they have to say and all the ideas in that exchange. So we're very appreciative for everyone for joining us this morning. And again, thank you to the Coalition for Civic Engagement for setting this up, as well as Prosperity Financial Group in San Ramon for supporting this event as well. I'm Ravi Kapoor for all of us at Diya TV. Thank you so much for watching. And again, our thanks to the mayoral candidates, Dinesh Govindarao, Dave Hudson, Susmita Nayak, and Aparna Madireddi, as well as Sridhar Verose and Varun Kaushal, who are running for District 3 City Council position in San Ramon. We will see you again next time. And of course, for those of you that watch our network regularly, we're doing a 3-hour live broadcast on election night, starting at 6 p.m. Pacific, with races from all over the country, not just the federal elections, but a lot of the local races, including San Ramon and Fremont. There are a ton of candidates, especially of diverse backgrounds, of South Asian backgrounds, that we will be tracking on elections nights. We're looking forward to that. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.